Could I have a motion to open the meeting?
I'll make a motion to open.
Okay, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey, John.
This meeting is being recorded. Is there anyone in the audience that is also recording? I'm hearing a no. All right, before we open the 7 o'clock hearing, the board will reorganize. This is the first meeting since the Board of Selectmen has appointed John Kerwin from alternate to voting member and made the appointment of a new voting member, Larry Chickalow, to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Welcome, Larry, and congratulations, John.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to turn the gavel over to the building inspector to open the nominations.
Thank you, Marcia. At this time, I'd like to ask if there are any nominations for Chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals.
I'd like to nominate Ed Coleman.
Is there a second?
I'd second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Both. Ed, congratulations.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to turn the meeting back over to the new Chair, Ed.
Okay, let's move over to the side here.
Now, I'd like to make a motion. Is there someone that wants to make a nomination for a vice chair?
I'd like to nominate Marcia.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so tonight, our first hearing is a 7 o'clock hearing. Can the public speak now, or like Wayne's raising his hand up?
Oh, no, he's having his hand up. We gotta go ahead
Okay.
at 7 o'clock.
We have a 7 o'clock hearing. Michael, is it Gusa? Gusa. Requesting a variance on the section 3.2.7.5 of the Auburn bylaws. Good evening. Would you like to maybe step up to the podium and give maybe a summary of what you're proposing?
Yes. I'd like to thank the board for listening to me. I've owned the property at 184 Oxford Street North. I've owned it since 1987, and I've operated a dental practice there ever since. That dental practice is still there. When I purchased the building, it was my understanding that that space was being developed for multiple businesses, and since I was able to utilize the entire space, I took it over. I'd like to start a coffee bean roasting business on a separate structure on the property. The business is going to be an internet-based business or a mail order-based business, so it won't bring any additional traffic or disrupt the neighborhoods in any way. There are other commercial properties in the area, so the commercial value of the land, I think, is established. The business is going to be a small part-time business. It will not generate much in the way of smoke or chaff or waste. It's very self-contained. Is there any other information that I can give you?
We did receive your packet, and I did observe that you put together sort of like a brief in terms of some of the criteria for a variance. Did you meet with somebody in the town?
Well, I didn't. I met with Adam Burney originally,
Okay,
and then I met with Phil O'Connell, an attorney in town.
okay. So are you aware of some of the, kind of the issues with a variance on what it takes to get a variance?
Some of them.
Okay,
I'm not an attorney.
yeah. I guess we could probably, do any of the board members have any questions for Mr.?
I have
Yes.
It's going to be located in that shed, is that at the back of the
Exactly.
property?
Right.
It's a non-permanent structure that has no electricity, no...
It does have electricity.
It does have electricity.
It has electricity, heating, and air conditioning.
Are they gonna be employees?
No,
No employees?
no. My business partner is Roxanne,
Yes.
who primarily travels. She's going to be doing a lot of the management part, and I'm the coffee roaster. So primarily, it'll just be myself. I plan on going into work as a dentist, and then going right over and roasting after work.
How does everything get delivered? Your beans?
It'll either be mailed, I'll be bringing coffee down to the post office or UPS, or if it's local within the area, I'll deliver.
And how much volume are you looking at doing? Do you have it
Fairly small.
small?
Yeah.
All right.
I probably couldn't roast more than 10 to 15 pounds in a day.
And I'm not sure if Adam explained it to you, but I can see the building inspector kind of outlined it. Some of the challenges that we have for a variance, typically a variance is something that's given out rarely. When, as a board, we look at the bylaws, so we have to enforce the bylaws and what's allowed. So sort of the hurdle that we need to get over would be, there are 3 conditions, and I see you kind of touched upon it in your packet, but some of the issues that we'd run into that we could probably discuss as a board would be, number one, what is the hardship? So there has to be a hardship in order to have us be able to grant the variance. And some of the key things we would look at would be, is there anything unusual about your lot compared to the other properties in that district that make it a hardship for you in that location, such as the soil, the lot size, the topography? And that's where we have a challenge in terms of doing
This is
that.
what we submitted?
This is what the applicant
Right.
submitted. And
So this is what he's coming up with for,
And then the other thing we need to discuss is, and I noticed the building inspector put it in the letter, the bylaws only allow one principal use on the lot. So normally when we get a request for a variance on something like this, it's pretty rare that we can actually grant the variance.
My understanding was that originally the variance was given with the idea in mind of multiple businesses. I wasn't able to research it, but that was my understanding when I first purchased the building.
I think your note said, like similar operations though, like similar business office exposures, where now we're getting into light manufacturing, processing, so it's a little bit different. And so 'cause I think overall what we're trying to do is for all the residents to kind of maintain the integrity of the neighborhood, and that's really the challenge that we have. Any board members have any other questions, or maybe we can go through some of the just kind of reminder of the criteria of a variance. So what I did was I referenced there's the packet on, this is put out by the Commonwealth of Mass, based on Mass General Law. So maybe we can talk about this a little bit. On a variance, it says you have to prove all 3 factors, and the first one would be, in order to get a variance, there has to be something about that lot that's unusual, that would make the property qualify for an exception to the bylaws. So say, for example, soil conditions. Does anyone think there's anything unusual about the soil conditions on that lot? No. How about the shape of the lot? Anything, just kind of like a,
no.
how about topography, like the slope, or, like any hills or anything like that? And I know, we know from prior variances, if it's because of the lack of square footage in the building, or if the building is not facing the street in a good angle, that wouldn't really be a criteria.
Right.
In terms of the hardship is probably the most important. Is there a hardship for the applicant based on the actual premises itself? In terms of, because you operate a dental practice right now?
Correct.
So do we see, other than like a financial hardship that we can't rent out more space, is there any other issues with that property if we can't approve the variance? Like any type of hardship? And then,
I just see what is written here, you know, the reasons he's given. These don't really justify a variance.
it's kind of more like financial in terms of being able to rent out space. Yeah, and then public good, I mean, I don't think if the applicant, if you had like a light coffee grind business, I don't think that would hurt the public at all. I mean, I don't think, so, but it's just that first and the second one, the lot itself and the structures, and then what is the actual hardship? I don't know if you guys agree, but is there, you feel there's a hardship for the applicant?
No.
The office itself doesn't directly face the street. The primary, you have to drive into the property to access the building. The structure that we would be using for roasting is set back and does not have frontage. So,
Unfortunately, there are a lot of like if you can have Route 12 by the Auburn Mall, you know, a lot of the buildings are all facing the wrong direction. So it's kind of, it's sort of how the building's built, but it's not really like a hardship for you.
Plus, the building could be moved to another part of the lot.
And again, in the other big one, which the building inspector mentioned, the bylaws, which are really set by all the residents, they voted on it, and then it's enforced by Mass General Law, but you can only have one principal use on a lot. So it gets tough because when you start adding more principal use, your case, it might not be that bad, but then it sort of sets a precedent for the town. Then the next door, they might come in and say, I want to put in a massage parlor and a auto repair shop. So and then and then they can say, well, you granted a variance on your lot, and then it starts spreading. And I think that's what we're trying to avoid, setting a precedent.
I think in my case, the business, well, I can understand your points, and they're well taken. My business would, this particular business, whereas an auto repair would attract business and increase traffic, and then there's biochemical waste, chemical waste. In this business, it would not attract any traffic, so it wouldn't impact the area. This is obviously the board's decision, but I see a distinction between an auto repair or a business that might need to attract the public in versus a business that would really not affect any additional traffic and would be mailed out.
And we do, I know we run into similar variances in the past where it was something we all sort of supported. It'd be we don't see any harm in what you would be doing there, but it's almost like, the other issue would be, say we do approve a variance like that, if anyone ever appealed it, any neighbor appealed it, we can't really write a decision that would support approving it. So then if it went to court, there's a lot of case law that would talk about this, and we really can't come up with the reasons that would really hold up in court, and that's what we're trying to avoid as well. Are there any neighbors here tonight that want to speak? Could I ask your name?
Jared Ryan?
Hey, Jared. Do you want to say something? or-
No, I have nothing against.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Against support for it.
any other board members have any comments of their own in terms of, do you agree or do you disagree with them?
No, I don't, variances are tough, like you were saying. I mean, if you're gonna go by, we need to go by the laws. I don't see the criteria here for variance, personally.
I agree.
And it's tough, again, because we get quite a few variances, and we struggle with it because, unfortunately, the bylaws, where your property is located, a residential district, and it's tough when you start adding additional operations on that site. So I guess we actually have two options, and I hope I'm stating this right. We could take a motion, vote, or the other thing that we could do is if you want to withdraw your petition, because if we vote no, then you wouldn't be able to come back for 2 years to do anything. So,
Excuse me, through the chair. There is a third option. The applicant can ask you to continue this hearing until the next meeting if he feels that there may be some additional items that he would like to present to the board that could prove his hardship. I don't know if he feels that way or not, but that is a third option that is out there for the applicant.
I'd like to take advantage of that option.
okay.
Well, so I'll make a motion to continue to the next meeting, which is August
15.
August 15th.
August
August
15th at 7 o'clock.
Is there a second on that motion?
Yeah, I'll second. Oh.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you again for listening to my appeal.
You're welcome. Thank you. Our next... I don't think we closed the meeting, right? Since it's continued, I don't think we...
Right.
Okay.
But now we've got to wait till, well,
7:15?
7:15, so we're all
Okay.
set.
Our next hearing is 7:15. The applicant, New England Sign Services, requesting a special permit on the section 7.8 of the bylaws regarding relocating a sign at Ronnie's in Auburn. Is the applicant here? Oh, I'll take a motion to open the hearing.
I'll make a motion to open.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Would you like to step up the podium and...
Good evening. My name is Mary Beth Moriarty. I'm representing Ronnie's on behalf of Mass Highway Department. My company is New England Sign Services. I'm applying for the special sign permit because of the fact of all the frontage that is being lost with the road being widening. The client feels as though he's going to lose a lot of visibility if we set it back to 10 feet to conform to the bylaws. So we're proposing to set it back 6 feet, where he will still have visibility and it won't conform, so that's why we need the special permit. And the location of where his sign is and where we're gonna move it is a curve in the road, which is really what the big issue is. So once that property is taken away from him and the curve's coming around, it's gonna be very difficult to see his sign if it's set back 10 feet. So we're proposing to set it back 6. Surveying the land and talking to the owner, we all agreed that that would be a feasible amount of footage and he wouldn't lose visibility.
Now, looking at the pictures that you sent, is it safe to assume that the sign's going to actually be set back further from the street than it currently is? Is that?
Correct, because what's gonna
Streets
happen
being
is,
wide.
when the state comes in and takes the property, it's
Yeah.
all gonna be gone, because the road will be
Okay.
right there.
Yeah, there's not much frontage.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
There's not much front yard.
There is
there.
not much frontage. There is not at all.
Now, is the 6 feet including the sidewalk? Is there gonna be a sidewalk in front
It's
of
gonna
that?
be, it will be set back 6 feet from the sidewalk.
Okay.
It should normally be the 10-foot, which is what the bylaw,
Right.
but because, again, the way his property is set up, if you looked at the picture, you can see the curve in the road,
Right.
and you
yeah,
have to
yeah,
visualize all that frontage property is gonna be gone. It's gonna be all road.
Right.
It's going to be otherwise the same dimensions, the same,
It's gonna be the same sign. We're
Okay.
just relocating it.
okay. Does anyone have any questions for the applicant? Or?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, that was easy. Thank you very much.
Yeah. That's just like the donut shop, correct?
Same as a donut shop.
The sidewalk.
I don't know what you want to ask me. Yeah,
I'll take a motion to close this hearing.
I'll make a motion to close.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
And I know we need to go into executive session. So we need to go into executive session.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. Prior to recessing to the executive session, I believe that there's a member, that
Okay.
town member that would like to speak.
Oh, yes, Wayne.
Nick. As you know, I was not reappointed to the committee, but I wanted to come up here tonight and thank you all that I did work with. You were a great committee. And if you watch the Selectmen's meeting on the citizens' comment, I had addressed the issue of the appointments, and hopefully you'll get a chance to look at the end of the meeting. And I hope that the way the things are going now through the town manager do not continue. And hopefully next year, when we have 2 new selectmen up, we give the town back to the people. But I just wanted to make sure that you know, I thank you for everything you have done when I was on this board and your support, and I will continue to support the members. And I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you, Wayne.
And so now we'll recess to go into executive session, only to reconvene to adjourn.